Previously on Prehistoric Portugal. This could be one of the Cromlechs of Amantes that was identified. Misidentified, mislabeled. I'm going to have to do some research. The two Cromlechs of Amantes are located in the Algarve, in the municipality of Vila do Bispo. They were found in the 1970s and excavated in the 1980s. Their exact location has, however, got somewhat lost. Until now. When I visited Vila do Bispo, I'd already done some research on the megalithic sites in the area, but I hadn't realized how many confusions and contradictions there were. One complication is terminology. English speakers sometimes use the term cromlech to refer to a dolmen or a tomb. The Portuguese term cromlech is only ever used to refer to stone circles. In my videos, I always use the term cromlech to refer to stone circles. The main problem is that in the official documentation, the Amantes cromlechs are bundled into a collection of 5 groups of menhirs, along with Pedra Escorregadia, Casa do Francês, and Serra do Camacho. The Ministry of Culture has a database of cultural properties that lists all the menhirs, but has very little information about them. Their locations are shown on a map, but the individual menhirs and groups are not distinguished. All the points have the same general designation. There are detailed descriptions of both Amantes 1 and Amantes 2 on the archaeologist portal. Those state that the cromlechs are located on top of a hill, and they include a map with a pin showing where they are located. Those pins agree with locations that were indicated on OpenStreetMap. Using that information and some information about the other groups, I concluded that the groups were probably organized this way. It was unclear, however, what these menhirs were. On OpenStreetMap and some other sites, they were marked as Menhir Bispo 1 and 2. At the start of the megalithic route of Vila do Bispo, the Pedra Escorregadia menhirs and tomb are well marked and easily found. I showed them in my last video. I tried to find the menhirs of Casa do Francês and found one stone that might have been a menhir or part of a menhir, but the rest of the area was fenced off. This was the same for the location shown on the map for the Amantes cromlechs. I recorded some video suggesting that the cromlechs were inaccessible. So this field is obviously privately owned. There's a fence of sorts. This rope goes all the way around it. And there's another one here that goes all the way up. And on that hill behind the cattle, there are definitely stones that look like menhirs. These are probably the two Cromlechs of Amantes, which are documented a little bit in the Department of Cultural Heritage, but there's not a lot of information. They definitely were excavated. Papers were written by archaeologist Mário Varela Gomes, and there's supposedly at least 2 Cromlechs up there. I'm not going to hop the fence, but I might try to come back with permission and come and visit another day. But then I went on to the next location on the megalithic route and found a field littered with stones that could be menhirs, at least 6 or 7. There were 2 that were very large, while others were small. The stones seemed to be arranged in an ellipse, so I started thinking that this could be one of the 2 cromlechs. It wasn't until I got home and started looking more closely at the research that I could be sure. In 1987, archaeologist Mário Varela Gomes published an archaeological survey of Vila do Bispo. He included some detailed information about the 2 cromlechs, which he had excavated in the 1980s. he included a photograph of menhir number 1 of the first cromlech. That was definitely the big stone that I had seen in that field. Looking closer, I could see that the location that was mapped on the archaeologist portal was definitely wrong. The description said that the cromlech was on top of a hill, but it also said, as Gomes had indicated, that it was 250 meters southeast from the Mont dos Amantes houses. The stones I photographed are more than 250 meters away, but definitely in a southeast direction. The site marked on the map as the Amantes cromlech was on a hill, but only about 100 meters away to the northeast. In Gomes' description, he never said that the cromlech was on a hill. I don't know how the archaeologist portal got that information. I would describe the location as a shallow bowl surrounded by low hills. From all this, it seems that the sites on the database map should be organized in this way. Looking closer, the map from the Public Heritage Database is mistaken in the location of some of the specific menhirs. All these sites probably need a new survey and an update of the registers. Gomes also published a diagram of the cromlech showing the 7 stones that he found. The 2 largest stones, number 1 and number 4 in his diagram, formed the large axis, 35 meters long, pointing east aligned with the equinox. Aerial footage of these stones corresponded perfectly with his diagram. The stone he identified as number 7 seems to be missing. I couldn't find detailed descriptions or diagrams of the second cromlech, but the large menhir I found along the road, originally labeled Menhir Bispo II on maps, is approximately 100 meters away to the east, which is how Gomes described the location. There seem to be at least 2 other stones that might have been menhirs in a fenced-off field across the road from the big one. They seem to be in a line running northeast-southwest, which is also what Gomes described. I think it's very safe to say that these stones are the Cromlechs of Amantes that Gomes excavated and described. So when you visit Vila do Bispo, make sure you walk down the road from Pedra Escorregadia Hill and say hello to the Cromlechs of Amantes. Walk around the ring of Cromlech 1 and give a pat to the big boy of Cromlech 2. Now I need to get back and visit the Cerro do Camacho menhirs. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.